All right, good afternoon. If you guys can hear me, let's see if it's connected. Yep, okay. Just a little technical difficulties. All right, we're here. Let's go ahead and get started in a seat. Okay, so bringing those hands to the front of the knees. Sit up nice and tall. We're gonna round those shoulders forward. We're gonna start to lean in our backs. We're just get going right away. Rounding through that spine, tucking that chin, feeling that stretch in between those shoulder blades. One more breath. And then we'll bring it forward. Just slide those hands forward. Walking those hands out. Feel a little stretch through those outer hips. Lengthening through that spine. And let's walk those hands over to that right side. Keep lengthening through that spine. And we'll go to center. We'll go over to the other side. Bring it back to the front and lengthen a little bit more. Then maybe reach those hands forward a little bit more. And then walk those hands back. Let's go ahead and interlace those fingers behind the back. Squeeze those shoulder blades together. Then maybe bring those hands away from the hips. Again, if this is too much, just bring those fingertips down. Open up through that chest. That looks the same way. One more breath. And then let's release. Go ahead and switch that across the legs. Again, hands will come to the front of the knees. Round that spine, roll it on back, chin to the chest. And go ahead and bring it forward. Walk those hands out. Flatten out that back. Maybe walking those hands forward a little bit more. And then walk those hands over to that left side. And then let's go over to the right side. And then bring it back to center and pause. Let's walk those hands back. Interlace those fingers behind the back. And bring those hands away from the hips if the shoulders are allowing. We don't want those shoulders to start rolling forward, kind of in this position. We want that chest to be nice and open, staying really tall. One more breath. And then go ahead and release hands and knees on the mat, tabletop. Nice flat spine. Then one time we're gonna round that spine, draw that belly, and really pressing the shoulder blades away from each other, tucking that chin. And then inhale, we'll drop that belly, lift the chest, lift the tailbone as we look up. And then we'll bring it back to neutral, walking those hands forward, spreading out those fingers, and then soften that chest. Maybe that forehead down towards the mat. So really active through those hands, trying to lift those elbows up off the ground, pulling those forearms towards each other. And holding it for another breath. And then we'll come forward to a forearm plank. So stepping those feet back. You can be on those knees. Okay, or on the toes, chest is pulling forward, shoulder blades are pressing away from each other, drawing that belly up and in. Let's go for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And now bring those feet together. We're gonna step the right foot out to the right side. So step it off of your mat if you have one, back to center, and then left foot off to the left side. Okay, so let's go 10 total. So we'll go to the right, 10, to the left, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lower those hips down. Draw those elbows back, lifting up through that crown of the head. And then we'll soften it back down. Bring those hands underneath the shoulders. Keep those legs together. Let's send it back to a child's pose with those thighs and the knees touching. Now from here, just go ahead and slide those elbows back so they're touching the knees or as close to the knees as you can get them. Reach that right hand out, turn that thumb down. Back of the hand will come towards that tailbone or towards the opposite hip. Take that big breath in through the nose and exhale. We'll open up, twist, look over that shoulder. Breathe. One more breath. Inhale, bring it back down. And then exhale, we'll open up, twist. Inhale it back down. Exhale, twist. Inhale, bring it back down. Switching sides. Right elbow to that right knee. Left arm reaches out. Back the hand comes towards those hips. Big breath in. Exhale, twist. Inhale, bring it back down. Exhale, twist. And down. Last time, twist and hold. And bring it back down. Then let's slide those hands forward again. Hips are high, arms are reaching out, and then really press into those palms, forearms towards each other. Again, soften that chest down towards the mat. Again, we'll slide it forward to our forearm plank, stepping those feet back. Again, we'll hold it for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. So now we're just going to do leg lifts, okay? So we're going to lift the right leg up, lower it down. Left leg lifts and lower it down. So here we go. 10. Pause at the top. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower down. Lower those hips down again. Draw those elbows back. Lift up through that crown of the head. And then we'll soften down. Hands come underneath those shoulders. Reversing that plank. Hips up and back. Downward facing dog. So alternate bending one knee and then the other. Maybe a little sway. Those hips from side to side. And then find that stillness. We're going to press that tailbone up, press the heels down. Then think flexing through those quads. Those quads are going to be that muscle in the front part of those thighs. One more breath. Then let's walk those feet up to the top of the mat, sliding those hands up the shins, flatten out through that back. And then we'll slide those hands down as we fold. Do it 2 more times. Bring the hands up to the shins. Nice flat back. And then slide it down, fold. One more time. Lengthen out. And exhale, fold. Do you shake that head? Yes. Shake that head? No. And one more breath. And then bend into those knees. Let's rise up to standing. Reach up really tall, interlacing those fingers. Point the palms up. Side stretch over to the right. Inhale it back up. Over to the left. Bring it back up. We'll interlace those fingers behind the back. Draw the knuckles down, and then hands can come away from those hips. And then release those arms up, reaching for those toes. And bending those knees as much as you need to. Let's lengthen up through that low back. And then slide those hands down as we fold. Bend into those knees, flatten out that back end. Let's rise up to standing, interlace those fingers, point those palms up, side stretch to the right. Inhale it up, over to the left. Inhale, bring it back up. Interlace those fingers behind the back. And we'll release those arms up. Then again, reaching for those toes. Flatten out that back. And then we'll lower those hands down. Big step back with that left foot. Lower that knee down. Plant that left hand, twisting. Right arm reaches up. And then lower the hands down. Straighten that front leg. Pull the toes back. Half splits. And then we'll rebend into that front knee, reaching those arms up overhead. So that core is really tight. We're pulling that rib cage down, pressing those hips forward. Another breath. And then lower those hands down. Step both feet forward. And then we'll go to the other side. Right leg is going to step back. We'll lower that knee down so we can be on the right fingertips, or maybe we lower that palm down. Twisting, left arm reaches up. Lower the hands down. Let's straighten that front leg. Pull those toes back. And we'll rebend into that knee, reaching those arms up so that core is tight. Rib cage down. Press those hips forward. And one more breath. And we'll lower those hands down. Go and step those feet up to the top of the mat, finding that flat back. And fold. Hang here for another breath. And now taking that step back with that left foot. Again, back knee lowers down. Plant that left hand, press it forward as we twist. Right arm reaches up. Lower that hand down. Straighten that front leg. Pull the toes back as we fold. And then into that front knee. Reach those arms up, core tight, pressing the hips forward. Now we'll lower. Left hand down, twisting. So keep that right arm reaching back. Now start to bend into that back knee. So maybe you just bend that knee. So you'll feel this will be on the left leg, but think this front part of the leg is what the stretch that you're feeling back, not left side. Now, if you want, you can reach for that foot. Make sure the toes are pointing straight up. Heel is pulling towards the left glute. Another breath. And then release that foot. Stepping both feet up to the top of the mat. And then we'll go to the other side. Right leg steps back. Lower that knee down. Plant that right hand, twist the left arm, reaches up. Lower the hands down, straighten that front leg, half splits. And then rebend into that knee. Plant, or not plant that. Let's come up first. Here we go. Core tight, pressing those hips forward. It pulls here. Feel that big stretch all through that right quad, hamstring, not hamstring, hip flexor. Let's lower the right hand down. Left arm is reaching up and back. And then we can start to bend that back knee. So again, maybe we start here with just that bend in the knee. Or maybe we can reach back and get that foot. Hold it for a couple breaths. And go ahead and release that foot. Go ahead and step Both feet back to that down dog position, that inverted V shape, pressing the tailbone up, press those heels down. And then go ahead and lower onto the knees. Knees can come a little bit wider, maybe out to the edges of the mat, maybe a little bit wider than that. And then press those hips down. So the wider those knees are, the more the stretch we feel through the upper back, as well as those inner thighs. Just relax here. Few breaths. And let's bring it back up onto hands and knees. Step it back to that down dog. One more hip opener. So stepping that right foot pretty wide outside that right hand. So my toes are even coming off of the mat. Then let that knee drop open. So again, my hips are not swaying. It's just my knee is opening up. So I'm getting a little bit of a stretch through that outer hip and then through that inner thigh as well. And with that knee really dropped open, if you want to try and bend those elbows, lower onto those forearms, you have that option as well. Again, try and keep that back flat. If you really feel like you're reaching to get those elbows down, just stay in your hands, no big deal. Let's come back to the hands. We'll switch sides, sending that right leg back, and that left foot will step outside that left hand. Lower that back knee down, flexing that left foot, and then let that knee drop open as wide as it will allow. And then you can start to bend into those elbows, lowering those forearms down. Knee is wide, hips are staying towards that midline of the mat. And then come back onto those hands. Go ahead and step it back. And let's roll it forward to a plank, a little bit more core here. So again, we'll be on the hands on the toes, chest is pulling forward, core is tight. Again, let's step that right foot out as far out as we can get. Bring it back to center. Left foot steps out as far as we can reach it. Back to center. So here we go. We'll go 10, 9, nice controlled. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. Then mountain climbers, nice and slow. Knee to the chest. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. Pause and lower it to your stomach. Point those toes, press into those palms. Roll the shoulders down and back, lifting up here, maybe just into this cobra, or you really want that big ab stretch. Straighten those arms out. They don't have to be completely locked out. One of the biggest things here is to make sure those shoulders are pulling down away from those ears, nice and long through that neck. You want to give it a little sway from side to side. That feels good. Feel free. And then we'll send those hips back again into that child's pose. And then we'll come back into that seat. Again, so legs crossed. And finishing off how we started. Okay, grab onto the fronts of the knees. Round that spine, roll it on back, tucking that chin. And noticing the difference in how these feel. Maybe it's a little bit looser. I hope it's a little bit looser. And then slide it forward. Eyes flat back, reach those hands out a little further. Let's walk the hands over to that right side. Center, and then over to that left side. Let's bring it back to center. And then walk the hands back. Let's switch that across the legs. And again, grab onto the fronts of the knees, rounding that spine, lean it on back. Inhale, bring it forward, sliding those hands forward. And let's walk the hands over to that left side to start. Let's go over to the right. And bring it back to center. Walk those hands out as far as you can. And then walk those hands back. Sit tall. Let's bring those hands to the knees. Close down those eyes. Roll those shoulders down and back. Just big breath in through the nose. And out through the nose. Let's go 2 more times. Big breath in. And out. Last one in. And out. All right, we're making those eyes open. Thank you all so much for joining me. Have a great rest of your day. And then we do have all levels yoga flow this afternoon at 4:45. So hope to see you all there. Have a great day.